Hey, Salva here, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to take your Instagram photos from looking like this to looking like this with 4 easy simple steps, no extra cost, no extra expenses, just using the cell phone that's in your pocket, or I'm pretty sure you're using it to watch this video, and these 4 steps. So first thing to tackle is going to be lighting. So if you see this photo, basically the sun is facing directly to my subject, making her have to wear sunglasses, and if she wasn't wearing sunglasses, she'd be squinting or making some weird faces, and it just wouldn't look good whatsoever. So how do you find better lighting? Especially during midday, the best thing to do is just find shade, whether it's inside a building, next to a bush, next to a tree, whatever the case may be. If you find shade, it's going to be nice, even light, and that's going to make it so much nicer to shoot a photo with. Now, if you can't find any shade, then you want to make sure your subject is backlit. Backlit just means making sure the source of light is behind your subject. This makes it great just because of the fact that it's no longer facing your subject's face, so they don't have to squint, wear sunglasses, or make weird faces looking at the camera. Now, for my photo, what I took, I actually put the sun kind of to the left just because I wanted the creative aspect of the sun flare coming into the camera. Next thing we're gonna do is step 2, which is making a blurry background. Now with bigger cameras, more expensive cameras, you would control your aperture to control your depth of field, which makes the blurry background, but we're gonna keep it simple, and using your cell phones, you can do this too. Now I'm not 100% how to do this on Android. I don't own an Android, so if you guys have the answer, go ahead and comment below so everyone else can see it who has Androids, but I know for iPhones, it's called shooting portrait mode. Portrait mode, you go ahead and pick your subject and then it blurs out the rest of the background after the fact. Now, blurring out the background, it's gonna be one of those tiny things that doesn't make a huge difference, but when you combine it with everything else, it makes a huge difference in the ending result. So blurry background is gonna be your second thing to do. Now, the third step is actually gonna be like 2 steps in one, but it's because when you're focusing on one of the steps, it's actually gonna knock out both of them. 2 birds with 1 stone, essentially. And so this step is all about filling the frame with your subject. And what it also does is it takes out dead space from your frame. Now, taking out that dead space from your frame is just as important as making sure your subject is a prominent or dominant subject of the frame. Now, what do I mean by dead space? I just mean anything that doesn't add to the photo or make the photo even better. So if you look at the original photo, I was at Disneyland, so there's families in the background, random poles in the background, random buildings, the monorail. There's random stuff that doesn't need to be there. It's not adding to the photo. So we're going to take that out. Now, while taking that out, I'm also filling the frame with my subject. You can either do this of 2 ways, either zoom in or physically walk closer to your subject and make sure your subject's filling the entire frame. Now, the reason why filling the frame with your subject is important is if you think about it, say you're shooting, just for an example, you're shooting 3 water bottles. How do you know what's the dominant subject? You don't. There's too many things in the frame. But if you go ahead and zoom in or walk closer and fill the frame with 1 water bottle, then you know that 1 water bottle is the main subject and you know what to focus on. So that's going to be the same thing that we're doing here. We're physically walking closer to our subject and making sure our subject is the prominent, dominant thing of this photo, whether it's the person, a place, or a theme. Filling the frame with your subject. Finally, the other thing to do to make your Instagram photos start looking better is composition. Now, composition is a loaded subject just on its own, and we're going to go to the next level of using rule of thirds, but like I said, loaded subject just on its own, but we're going to keep it nice, sweet, and simple. I'm sure if you guys want to look up, you can find videos all on it, but just to keep this video nice and simple, rule of thirds. Quick understanding is basically you're drawing 2 imaginary vertical lines and 2 imaginary horizontal lines while you're shooting your photo. These lines are going to make 4 crosshairs on the screen. Now, quick tip, I know iPhones do it. I'm not 100% about Androids. I'm pretty sure they do, but basically iPhones, go into your settings, your camera settings, and then just turn on grid. This is going to go ahead and draw those lines for you so you can physically see them as you're taking your photo. Now, rule of thirds is just a nice way of composing your shot. Now, when talking about composing your shot, all it is the way you arrange the components or the objects or whatever is in your frame, the way you arrange them. So when you have a subject like a person, best thing to do is go ahead and place their entire body on one of the vertical lines, or if you're zoomed up really close, like in my image, you're going to place their face on one of the top crosshairs. And the other big thing to remember is while you're using this, if your subject is looking to the left or to the right of the frame, you want to make sure you add space between where they're looking. So my subject is looking to camera left, so I'm gonna make sure that there's space between the left edge of the frame and the face of my subject. What this does is it just shows what your subject's interacting with, and it makes it more natural and more appealing. So I hope this helps you guys start shooting banger shots for your Instagram photos. And if you guys already shot better photos because of this, give me a thumbs up, hit me down in the comments for any other things you wanna know or any more tips you wanna know, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.